all the people we talked about so far, from Thales to Parmenides and his buddy Zeno, were monistic, think monocle, monistic materialist. And so they believed there was one underlying source of reality from which all things came. And the last guy, Parmenides, he didn't just say there was one source, he said there was one reality, one thing. And I kept going on. I watched that video, and I kept making a point of how he was so much more logical than the other Greeks, but I don't think I really explained to you why. And so let me show you the logic of what he's saying. If the substance from which all things comes is eternal and infinite, then by definition you can only have one thing, because you can't have two infinite things happening at the same time. Does that make sense? Okay. So if the totality of reality is this substance or thing, and whether it's matter or whether it's God, if it is eternal and infinite, that means there is no plus one. There is no the totality of being plus this other thing that's also being. Because if you do that, it means this is no longer infinite. It's slightly smaller. And later, as we go through this class, we'll hear some arguments for pantheism using this same argument. But none of these early guys, except maybe Anaximander, the guy who said the indeterminate, it can't be named, it can't be described, he kind of sounded more like an Eastern mystic to me. But all the other ones were clearly materialistic in their thinking, that the underlying substance was either fire, air, water, or it was just this one thing that we couldn't really talk about, but it was from which everything else came, or which everything else was, according to Parmenides.